Thank you for tuning into Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. On today's review, we take a look at the Mezco Marvel Homecoming Spider-Man. Today, I'll be reviewing this figure in 6 categories: accessories, articulation, design, is it essential to your collection, functionality, and price. Once our scores are total, I'll give you my opinion if this figure is a pass or purchase. So I had this Spider-Man for about 3 to 4 weeks now. Common running thing. I'm pretty late when it comes to reviews. So let's get them open and let's take a look at it. So for accessories, with Mezco, it changes per figure. Sometimes we see numerous pieces, like for Blade, for example, and other times we don't receive as much. Spider-Man is somewhere in between that. However, I feel that he does come with a lot for a Spider-Man character. So one of the things that we receive are the wing effect pieces, which attach to his waist, and they are done pretty well. Not completely transparent. It's almost I don't want to say fogginess, but it's some sort of cloudiness in here, but it looks really good. We receive 3 web effects, one shorter, another one with something that maybe can go over the enemy's face, and we receive a longer one which can also be opened, and if you were wondering, you can shape it how you want to. We receive 3 Spider-Man head sculpts. So the difference really is just with the eyes. So the sculpts look to be completely the same with the exceptions of the smaller eye, more black, and so on. So with this particular head, you can see that there is more black within the eye. Let's see if I can get some extra lighting to help. And this is the head that comes on the figure. Probably my favorite head out of the 3. We receive a base and stand, and we receive 7 hands, 5 in package, 2 on the figure. And that's it for accessories. For accessories, not much else to desire. The only thing that I want that's not included would be a Peter Parker head. So for accessories, I am going to give this a 9 out of 10. So let's take a look at the articulation. So the head is able to look up about that much. It's able to look down about that much. It's able to rotate a full 360. You get some pivot and some nice amount of movement. The arms are able to move way up. That is fantastic for a clothed figure. It's able to rotate. I'm going to say about that much. You probably can get it to do a full 360, but if you look, you see how the material is bunching up. So I wouldn't advise that you push it beyond that point. So you do get rotation in the shoulder. It doesn't feel like it's a butterfly joint. I'm not 100% sure, however. You do get upper bicep movement here. You also get rotation at the wrist. The arm is double jointed, bending all the way up. That is just fantastic. And you do get complete rotation as well as hinge. You just have to find the line in the peg to make it go up and down and side to side. So now with the torso is able to lean. Just trying to move the top portion. So you don't get a lot of movement with the top portion of the torso. About that much rotation left and right. About that much crunch forward. Really none backward. Now using the upper and lower torso, Spider-Man is able to go way, way back. He's able to move about the same forward. You get excellent rotation, pivot, so you get a lot of movement. Now the legs are able to do a full 360 even with cloth material. And trust me, it can do a full 360. The legs are able to move up about that much. That's great for Spider-Man. I would have liked if it could have gone a little bit further, but this is just me asking for more. No issue with what Mezco has given us. The leg is able to go back that much. Now that's something that we could have, or I wanted a little bit more of. So you do get rotation at the upper hip, none at the lower. The next point of rotation would be at the foot itself. So knees are double jointed. Spider-Man is able to kick himself in the own butt. That is fantastic. The foot is able to go up that much, down that much, and is able to pivot inside and outside. Mezco has come a long way when it came to the pivot. So we receive a great amount of articulation. And I'm going to give Spider-Man a 9 out of 10 for articulation. It would have been a 10. However, he doesn't have butterfly joints. So for design, it is not movie accurate. So the cloth, the blue cloth, looks more like denim than anything else. However, it looks really good. And this is done in a pleather type material. It is something that I would probably worry about over time. There's absolutely no shading on the figure, but for some reason I feel that we don't need it. I think that the fact that the webs are painted throughout Spider-Man makes up for the lack of shading. So for design, I'm going to have to take off a few points because it's not movie accurate. However, I do feel that it's a great looking figure. So I'm going to give Spider-Man an 8 out of 10 for design. So is Spider-Man essential to your collection? That almost seems like a no-brainer. However, we have to consider we have so many offerings. The limitless amount of Marvel Legends Spider-Mans that we have. Mafex also makes a few versions of Spider-Man SH Fig Arts, and the list goes on. So, and these are all particularly 6-inch scale. So if you chose to skip this Mezco purchase, you would be able to grab a Homecoming figure from a different line. Now, would it be as good as this? Probably not. So as far as being essential to your collection, I'm going to give this Mezco Spider-Man figure an 8 out of 10. So for functionality, let's start with the head. Let's pop this one off and let's pop on the other heads. Very simple, both are snug and stays in place. Excuse me. So the heads work and fit on very well. Let's now move on to this. So this goes around his waist like so, maybe not. You can tell I haven't read the instructions. Okay, it goes on like this, pretty simple. And I believe he has his hands something along like this. So that works well. Assuming that I have this the right way, it fits pretty snugly. And you can actually port the stand right in the back so that you can hold it in place. Now, on top of that, Spider-Man comes with one web grabbing hand. So let's unplug that. And I have to say, I'm not a fan of action figures that do not have pegs on the hands. However, Mezco is one of the best to do it. So let's see if it works. Okay, he's able to hold that one pretty well. Same thing with this piece. Oh, oh, this doesn't go like this. Hold on. Okay, so the way this piece actually works, you detach the hand, and there's a hold here, which goes around the peg like so, and then you insert one of the hands. Hopefully I got the right hand. May have to do this off camera. All right, I'm going to do this off camera. Okay, it took some time for me to get it done, but this is how this piece actually fits on. So, pretty cool. And last but not least, looking at the longer web, you can stretch it, you can bend it, you can wrap it, and it will hold its pose. So for functionality, I'm going to give Spider-Man a 10 out of 10. So Spider-Man comes priced in at about 80 bucks. I was able to grab mine from my local comic shop, so I skipped out on paying for shipping. So it seems crazy that we're in a time to where 6-inch action figures fetch for roughly 80 bucks. So now, is he worth the $80 price point? It depends what you're looking for. As far as posability, some accuracy to the movie, not exactly 100%, a fair amount of accessories, and again, soft goods, you receive this with this figure. For me, what would have propelled it over the top would have been a Peter Parker head that didn't come. It is something that I would have liked to have. However, I don't feel cheated that it's not included. So a better price point for me would be right around that $70 price. So for pricing, I'm going to give Spider-Man a 9 out of 10. And that gives this figure an overall Cliff score of 53 out of 60. So now, is he a pass or a purchase? In my opinion, this is the best Spider-Man figure that I own. So just to wrap this up quickly and not take a long time talking, it is an absolute purchase for me. My only gripe with this particular figure would be the size. I feel that it's a little bit too small, and you'll see that as I compare it to different figures. So here's Spider-Man next to Mezco's Black Panther, and I feel both of them are too short. And not only is Spider-Man, I feel, a little bit short in stature, but his overall girth, just like the body of maybe a high school student. Yes, I know in the movies he's in high school, but I'm going to say like 9th grade or maybe even junior high, 8th grade. And here's Spider-Man next to Mezco Punisher. And with this one, you truly see the height difference as well as match with the overall body. So I haven't reviewed Black Panther as of yet. That will be coming soon. And you know, my soon can be weeks later. And I also haven't reviewed this version of Punisher as well. I'll put this on my to-do list. So thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop, and I hope to see you during the next review.